Red Ledger, screenplay by Jacob Reason, complete short film. Exterior, coastal mudflats, day. The waves lap inland, their foam washes over the earth. A cloud of blood and ash diffuses into the water. A scrap of paper drifts into the mixture. It is stained red, blood. Whatever was on the paper is no longer discernible. Exterior, pier, entrance, day. Gulls screech overhead. A ship's horn blares in the distance. Tourists and locals shuffle to and fro, taking in the sights. Among them is Annie, late 50s, tired face, clutch bag in hand, silk scarf on her head, no sign of hair underneath. Her gaze roams the pier and the crowd before settling on a fisherman at its end. She noticeably tightens her grip on her bag. Exterior, pier's end, day. Annie steadies herself on the pier rail, leaning over. A short way stands the fisherman, Barker, late 50s, trim frame, unshaven and joyless face. His rod rests against the rail. The line trails into the water. He stares out to sea, waiting, focused.
What do you hope to catch?
Whatever bites at this hour.
Will you eat it?
Maybe.
And if not?
Maybe. Are you here, Annie?
You know why, Barker. I came alone.
You sure?
Don't insult me, Barker. I'd know if I was followed. I want to know where he is.
I'm sure you do.
Barker doesn't break his gaze from the sea.
2 hours. That's all I need. 2 hours, then we'll never see each other again.
All right.
Exterior, rain shelter, moments later. Annie and Barker sit on the bench beneath a rain shelter. There is a visible distance between them. Barker keeps an eye on his line.
Don't think I didn't see you get out of that cab.
Nothing gets past you.
I was hoping for a coincidence.
Wouldn't that be something?
Not sure. I need to ask you how you found me.
Oh, I called in some favors.
Not sure how I can help.
Please, don't insult me.
Not like that.
I'm very much beyond help. Of this, I've been assured.
Barker glances at her scarf, or rather her head. Annie musters a thin smile. Interior, Barker's van, day. Barker drives. Annie rides passenger. Annie scans the interior. A dog-eared photo shows a group of armed Marines posed around a Union Jack, circa Falklands War. A young Barker seated amongst them.
Where'd it go, eh?
I think we made the most of it.
He steals a glance at her hand, scanning for a ring.
You ever,
I did. Lasted 5 years, then it ended. Went with some young thing.
I gave it a go. Didn't last long either.
I expect the fishing didn't help.
We make the most of it.
We had our moment.
I'd never lie to you, Annie.
That's why I never asked.
Exterior, farm track, day. Wild meadows surround a dirt track. Barker's van halts. It's quiet here, far from the path. Interior, Barker's van, day.
Is it far?
It's only one way down. Your boots will get dirty.
They're just boots.
Barker exits. Annie watches as he crosses to a cutting in the brush. He looks back, waiting. Annie slips a small lock knife from her clutch, stowing it inside her coat pocket. She takes a steadying breath. Exterior woodland trail, day. Annie follows Barker down a rough path. She moves slow, tiring with the effort. He stops to let her catch up. Exterior coastal mudflats, day. The pair emerge onto a sheltered coastline. A strip of sand hugs a wide swath of mud leading to the sea. It's deserted.
How did you find this place?
Always was good at finding places.
Barker trails Annie along the beach. She looks uneasy. Her eyes roam the brush-lined cliffs overlooking the bay, secluding them.
It was a quarry up the coast. Barges used to float here and to unload. A few signs left here and there. You'd never know. The mud takes everything down with her.
Annie tenses at this.
How long they give you?
Let's say I've taken to dining out.
Alone?
Sometimes.
Sad to hear.
It's cheaper. And the Pity ensures impeccable service. How much further?
Little more.
Annie tightens her collar to the cold. She tucks her hands into the coat and keeps walking. Barker watches her closely.
Was offered a role as a security consultant. Some emerging rubbish. Former Soviet bloc, of course.
Sounds like a good opportunity.
I wanted to know if I was familiar with social media.
Are you not?
Landlocked. That did it for me. I gotten to like it out here. The sea
The sea?
keeps me calm.
It's just a job. A means to an end.
And who are we talking about here?
I think we've come far enough.
Barker halts, looking at a nearby mooring post. Annie follows his lead, guessing at its significance.
It was true about him. Couldn't be trusted. Would have caught up with him eventually. If not us, the Russians. Not them, someone else. Serbs, perhaps. We took it all surprisingly well.
What did you do? What did you do?
Exterior coastal mudflats, day, flashback. A pair of handcuffs land in the sand. Two figures stand facing each other. One straight and serious, the other hunched with defeat, their faces unseen.
Gave him a choice.
The hunched man stoops to collect the cuffs.
He could take a walk with or without me.
The hunched man struggles through the mud towards the post. The handcuffs swing from his hand. A younger Barker, 30s, watches him go, a gun at his side, impassive. Exterior coastal mudflats mooring post, day, flashback. The hunched man kneels. He threads the cuffs through a thick iron ring attached at ground level to the post. He clicks the cuffs to his wrists, securing them in place.
Like I said, the mud takes everything.
Exterior coastal mudflats, day, present. Annie shudders. The knife blade peeks from her fist. Barker stands behind her. He doesn't see.
A traitor's death. You were the only one who knew.
Still am. For all I knew, you were in it together. I knew what he meant to you. Leverage. You'd know better than me how to work an angle. Suicide's preferable, missing better still. Few raised eyebrows from the top, but nobody asked questions.
You didn't have to. Not like this.
I was protecting you. If I hadn't, they'd have got both of you.
His fist tightens. She fixes on the post, refusing to let him see her tears.
Is he?
You come here to settle this.
I'll not waste my time on you. Not while I'm still breathing. I've only one thing to ask of you.
Interior, Barker's cottage, kitchen, day. Barker sits at a table, his fishing reel dismantled on a makeshift newspaper tablecloth. He cleans the components. Interior, Annie's house, study, night, flashback. Annie sits at a desk. She seals an envelope and places it to one side. She carefully tears a scrap of paper into a square. She picks up a red marker pen. Interior, Barker's cottage, kitchen, day, present. Barker oils the reel's winding mechanism. A doorbell rings. He sits there a moment, unsure. He reaches for a biscuit tin on the counter, opens it, and removes the top layer. He pulls out a revolver. Interior, Barker's cottage, hall, day. Barker approaches the door, revolver out of sight. He opens it to reveal a courier, 20s, uniformed, a shrink-wrapped package under his arm. Interior, Barker's cottage, kitchen, day. On the table rests a cardboard box. It's about a square foot, carefully sealed. The words, "Handle with care," printed on each side in red. Barker stares at it from across the room. He takes up a knife and slices open an envelope. Interior, Annie's house, study, night, flashback. Annie picks up a phone, dials, listens as it rings. It answers to silence at the other end until, yes. Annie tenses. She balls her fist, trembling as unseen pain racks her body. She finds her voice.
I found an old friend today.
Tell me. Interior, Barker's van, day, present. Barker guides the vehicle over the rough farm track, jiggling in his seat occasionally. Interior, Annie's house, study, night, flashback. The BBC plays in the background. Annie sits motionless in an armchair, head back, eyes closed, a peaceful look on her face. Red wine soaks the carpet from an overturned glass at her feet. Exterior, coastal mudflats, day, present. Screeching gulls heard overhead, a distant rumble of surf. Barker trudges along the shoreline, plastic bag in hand. He stops. The tide is in. He looks out to where the top of the mooring post rises above the waterline. Barker pulls a red cremation urn from the bag. He unscrews the lid and unceremoniously dumps its contents of ash into the water. He tilts his head. A small square of paper floats on the mix. A hammer and sickle drawn in red ink. He sighs, defeated.
Annie. Damn it.
He looks out to sea, accepting, when, thump, a shot punches a hole between his shoulder blades. He sinks to his knees and topples into the surf. Blood mixes with the ash. The scrap of paper spins on the surface, ink bleeding into the water. Fade out.